Neo Chai Senis Toto, Neo Chai Senis Toto, Chai Senis Toto. Царю небесний, утішителю душі істини, що всюди єси й все наповняє, скарби їх життя подателю, прийди і вселися в нас, і очисти нас від усякої скверни, і спаси мої душі наші. Отця і Сина, і Святого Духа.
Амінь.
The city where I come from now, Sydney, has a population of 25,000. The island that I live on, Cape Breton Island, has a population of 125,000. The entire province of Nova Scotia has a population of less than 1 million. It's a small place. Everybody knows everybody else. And there's a man living in our city whose name is Charlie Reed. Nanash. And one Sunday, many years ago, and in our church, our choir stopped singing because the choir director moved away, but we have a Kyrillos, a very nice Kyrillos. I don't know if you're familiar with that term. And Charlie was walking by the church one Sunday morning, and he heard the people sing. And in our church, the Kyrillos leads, but everybody sings. And so Charlie came into the church that Sunday morning, and on Sunday morning, the service is strictly in Ukrainian, except for the homily and the reading of the epistle. And so Charlie came in and he heard, and he stepped into a pew, and when the people stood, he stood. When the people sat, he sat. And he started to pick up the music and the words. And Charlie had a nice deep baritone voice. And at the altar one Sunday, I go, Miri Hospodevi Pomolimsha. And I hear this deep baritone voice with everybody else. Hospody pomiluj. It was Charlie. He did Hospody pomiluj, podai Hospody, tobi Hospody, Amen. And everybody was amazed that here we have an outsider coming in and enjoying the service. Charlie started to come regularly, and he came for about half a year. And then he stopped coming. And I saw him on the street once, and I go, Charlie, what happened? Why aren't you no longer attending Sunday morning service? And Charlie said, because I was told by a couple of people in your church that I should go back to my own kind. Charlie is black. That's not the only incident that I've experienced. When I was going to my first Holy Communion, there were over 30 of us in that year. At the homily, the priest told us the most important thing that you as children have to do is listen to your parents and be good. Because if you're not good, the devil will take you away. And for you to know, every black person out there is a devil. I was 6 years old, and I knew that was wrong. I mention these stories because we're talking about evangelization. How to reach out and to reach within ourselves for a deeper relationship with God. We have to approach people with respect. That's the foundation of any relationship. Poshana druhe. We have to approach people as equals, not as superior to them. We will find common language. The examples I will tell you come from my own experience. When I was still a seminarian in Ottawa, I wanted to take Hebrew, to be able to look at the Old Testament and truly get the nuance. I took 3 years of Hebrew in university. But university classes and homework was not enough. I wanted to experience the living Hebrew. And so there were 3 of us from the seminary, from the Ukrainian seminary, who were taking Hebrew, and we thought Friday evening services at the synagogue. Good practice. A conservative synagogue, not Orthodox, conservative, which means they still have their prayers in Hebrew. And I got my own kippah, my own yarmulke, so I don't have to take it off the pile that they have in the synagogue. And my beard was down to here. And the 3 of us walked into the synagogue that Friday evening, just before sunset, and we looked inside, and there were 8 men sitting around. And when they saw the 3 of us, the older gentleman jumped up with joy, and he goes, "Welcome, welcome!" Because in the Jewish tradition, you need 10 men, males, to have a service. It's called a minyan. If you do not have 10 men, you could have 100 women. If you do not have 10 men, you cannot have a service. So when they saw us, they rejoiced. And the elder came and he said, welcome, welcome, come, come. And he looked at me with my beard and he goes, would you mind taking a reading and then explain the reading? This group, it was a shrinking community. This group has not had a service in 5 Fridays. They were starving. But I admitted to the elder, we're not Jewish, we're Catholic seminarians. And he looked at us, he looked at the other 6 men already. And he goes, come on guys, they'll never know. Whoa. We went to the service. I didn't do the reading, I didn't do the explanation. At the end of the service, the elder stood up and he goes to the other 6, I have a confession to make. These young men that joined us today are Catholic seminarians. They're not Jewish. And one of the 6 goes, the good book says we need 10 men. Nowhere is it written they have to be Jewish. And we started to attend regularly. What happened? As a result, we were there, I think, 3 consecutive Fridays. And they knew we were Catholic, they were Orthodox, they were conservative, not Orthodox, very welcoming. Other people in the community heard about us, in the Jewish community. And they started to come back to the synagogue to see who are these 3 Catholics that pray in Hebrew with us. And the community started to grow. When I left, because I was one year ahead of the other 2, when I left, they had 67 men regularly attending. They were always there, but they just became lax in their practice. I would claim, even though I was not aware of that moment, I would claim that I was doing evangelical work. I was evangelizing. Not converting, not proselytizing, but I was evangelizing. They saw the good in other people. It brought them back into a deeper relationship with their God, with only one God, but with Yahweh. That synagogue, when I became a priest, I learned a lot from them. I attended privately with the elder to get some prayers from him. And I was always but always wanted to learn the Kaddish. The Kaddish is the prayer you say when someone dies. It has nothing to do with death. The Kaddish itself is a prayer for glorifying God. In Sydney, we have 1 synagogue now. There used to be 3. Now there's only 1. They don't even have a rabbi. but the community comes together for prayers. I was visiting the hospital when a Jewish woman, I know the family very well, she came and she said, "My father's dying. Come." And I went in to be with the family. We took a psalm together, reading of the Psalms. And in my presence and in the presence of the family, the father died. And I saw that the family was hurting and they didn't know what to do next, what should be said, I started reciting the Kaddish. They knew it. They joined in. It brought them peace, that at least the prayer for their father was said at the right time. I believe, I may be wrong, I believe that I was evangelizing. I wasn't converting, I wasn't proselytizing. For those that have done hospital work, and there's those here that have CPE units under their belts. Everyone?
Several of us.
What is the main purpose of a chaplain in a general hospital and a chaplain who is not assigned for a specific faith group? What is his or her responsibility? What is the prime responsibility of that chaplain?
I think different chaplains have a different approach, but for me it's to bring the presence of God, the presence of love, as you say, God is love, into that situation.
Loving presence.
Which version of God?
One God.
Yes, but I didn't say which God, which version of him or her.
Well, I come in, I don't proselytize or preach, but I bring in Jesus with me in my heart.
Okay, no, that's what you bring. If you go to a Muslim person, is it your purpose, your intent to change them out to Christians or Catholics?
Active presence.
We are there to help them develop a deeper relationship with their own version is the wrong word, but their own understanding of who God is. So if I could help a Muslim person become a better Muslim, I'm evangelizing. If I'm helping a Jewish person become a better Jew or a Buddhist to become a better Buddhist, I believe that I'm doing God's work.
Healing presence.
Yes.
Healing presence.
The healing presence encompasses all faiths. So when we talk about evangelizing, we should not simply think about conversion or proselytizing. The people, if they feel and they see the presence of God in you, they may want to inquire, investigate a little bit more who you're all about and what is your understanding of God. And that's when we can start talking about Jesus and the resurrection and the love and the healing. I had another, again, hospital visit really expose the chaplain to various situations. I was in Ottawa. I was a chaplain at the Ottawa Civic Hospital. And I got a call in. Come on in, we have a problem. It emerged. I came in to emerge. What happened was a gentleman passed away. An Arab. A Muslim. they had no imam in Ottawa. They had a couple of mosques, but again, no leadership, no imams. So I get the call as the hospital chaplain. And they come and there's about 60 members of the family all in the waiting room of Emerge, all causing all sorts of crying and screaming and doing all sorts of disruptive behavior. The nurses are getting upset, the patients are getting upset, other families are getting upset. So I told security, open up the cafeteria, the small one. Same level, close by. I brought the family to the cafeteria there. And I said, 3 people at a time to see the body, to be with the body, not to leave the body alone. And the wife, the mother of the children, was very agitated. She goes, my oldest son is not here. In their tradition, on the death of the head of the family, which is always the man, the eldest son takes responsibility and takes over the running of the family. Without him, nothing can happen. So I took the mother, I took the second oldest, and I took one of the grandsons. And we went to where the body was, and I see again this agitation, not knowing what to do. I went through the spiritual cleansing that the Arabs do. If you ever see at the beginning of the service in the mosque, they will, as if they're taking the incense smoke over themselves and they're cleansing. And I did that twice, and they started to quiet down and look at me. And then I just said, Inshallah. Inshallah in Arabic, the will of God. Volia Boja. And they quieted down. And the second oldest son started to say the prayers. And everything was okay. We were walking out with them, and the second oldest son comes up to me and goes, you Muslim? He goes, no, I'm Catholic. He goes, wow. And from that point on, whenever I met, the word got around. At that point on, anywhere in Ottawa, I met a Muslim group. They were told my description and they would come up and say, thank you. Thank you for respecting our traditions. I didn't forsake my traditions. Я не став мусульманом. Я не зрікся католицької віри. Але я вшанував їхні традиції, їхні звичаї, їхнє віровизнання. То є перший крок євангелізації. Шанувати других. Прийняти їх ними такими, як вони є. Бог любить, перепрошую, Божа любов виливається на всіх. God's love flows out on everyone. In the gospel it's even specific, on the good and the evil. So how can we limit our expression of love toward those that we encounter, regardless of their faith? Regardless, you'll encounter people who'll say, we don't believe in God. And I go, gotcha. If they didn't believe in God, they wouldn't use the word God. They acknowledge the existence of that word. But anyways, that's just but that's the foundation of evangelization. Respect, love, embracing, And if they see your authenticity, if they feel that what you present is who you are, they will come into a dialogue with you. I've had other faiths come to me asking me about Jesus. What is it about Jesus that makes him different from Muhammad? What's different about Jesus that makes him different from Yahweh or from the Hindu? Hinduism is a polytheistic religion. They have many gods. But Shiva, how's Jesus different than Shiva? And we come into dialogue. I was one of the founding members at our university at CBU, where students wanted a forum where to talk about religion. And so they started to come, and we have people of many faiths, many traditions coming. There's 18 of us that are meeting once a month. And I came up with sort of a question. What is it, if we had to describe a divine entity in terms that is acceptable to all faith traditions, where would we start? Not surprising, everybody started with love. Love, and then they started to sort of, not fracture, but love was the foundation to all. And if we say God is love, God is the foundation for all. One God, many different expressions. If I was to put this statue right here in the middle, and you didn't see the statue as it is now, because it would be covered, if I would unveil the statue and ask each and every one of you to describe what is it that you see, you would only be able to describe what is in front of you, not what's behind her. So if anybody sitting here would say it's a statue of a woman holding a monstrance or something in her hand. Those that would see behind would simply say it's someone dressed in a brown cloak. Those that look from the side may see that it's a woman's face, but not be able to see what she's holding. Each and every one of you would give me a different explanation or a different version of what is it that is before you. That is my approach to the different religions. We're all trying to describe the indescribable, and each and every religion only has a little view of the infinite. So each religion explains the best that they can something that is not explainable. And that explains, but they're all describing the same thing. Do you believe that the Catholic Church has the complete understanding of God in their practices, in their prayers? Have we fully encompassed who God is? Czy my w pełni зрозуміли, ми як католики, чи ми можемо сказати, що ми в повні розуміємо, хто є Бог? Хто би був відважний тут сказати так? Я ні. Як Бог є необмежений, то як я можу повні сказати?
Ми говоримо лише те, що Бог нам об'явив.
Так,
Ми тільки можемо сказати те, що Він нас навчив.
так. То, що Він нам об'явив. Але чи ми можемо сказати, що Бог не об'явив себе другим людям другим способом?
Тільки те, що ми знаємо.
Та точно.
Nie є лімітована.
І то є та підстава, чому ми мусимо навчитися шанувати поняття других. Ми можемо їм розповісти про наші поняття, заохотити їх так. Ми інакше розуміємо. Для нас Ісус є Спаситель, для нас Ісус є Син Божий.
Але тут є одна річ, це не є наше поняття, це Його поняття, які Він дав нам.
Ні.
Він нам об'явив.
Він нам об'явив, а ми зрозуміли то можливості нашої. Так що то мусить бути лишаючи наше поняття. Бо ми то зрозуміли, ми то прийняли, ми то стараємося тому зрости. І я щось скажу еретичного. Владико, простіть мені, можете сказати моєму владичі, if you have any problems, 416-746-0154, то є телефон до мого владики, як маєте оскарження проти мене. Можете прямо до канцелярії.
Отже, хотів сказати, що немає ні одного з богословів, який не казав певну єресь. Так якщо ви говорите
Але я не
єресь...
богослов, я є скромний священник.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, always.
I'm pretty certain, at least within myself or whatnot, that all mankind is saved through Jesus Christ, whether they acknowledge Him or not.
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering whether you would agree with that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have no doubt about that. But I think also that for the people of different faiths, the path that they're on is just as valid for them.
It's valid for them.
That's what I'm
I don't know
saying.
about just as valid, but valid. My position.
But I'm just saying that we have, if we denounce other faiths, if we talk bad about them, if we say, no, you're wrong, you're mistaken, our way is the only way, I think that we're limiting our own vision of who God is.
Certain.
Proшу, yes.
I'm sorry for my ignorance, but
No, no.
what was the answer to the question of do you believe the Catholic Church has the fullness revelation of God?
I didn't say the fullness revelation, I said a complete understanding which goes beyond the revelation that we've received.
And the answer is
God is incomprehensible. So how can we begin to claim that we have the ultimate, the perfect approach?
it's in the prayers that we say incomprehensible, inconceivable.
Yep,
Nobody can grasp
exactly.
all of God.
And we're all struggling.
The church is finite, God is infinite.
Yes.
But we
Okay.
do believe that God's fullness is revealed within the Catholic Church.
I believe
As
that.
far as what He has wanted to present to us.
No, my response would be that what God has revealed to us, we may not have fully received.
Because of our limitless.
It's
So
just like
God-
a transfiguration.
God
But His
reveals in our limited, in our own limited way. We cannot receive the unlimited. It doesn't mean that God does not reveal it to us. No, as long I'll go this far. As long as we disrespect one person, we haven't understood what what Jesus tried to teach us. As long as we ignore one person, we haven't followed. We're not grasping and this is within our understanding. If there's a person in prison that we don't visit, we keep falling short. It doesn't mean that it hasn't been revealed. It just means that we're imperfect and we're struggling how to go beyond what the world considers normal.
I'm dying to hear the heresy, Father.
Proszę?
I'm dying to hear the heresy.
To hear the heresy.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered it now. Oh yes! My heresy, what I'm about to say is I think that every religion struggles to come to know God in their own way.
Amen.
And I believe that we have something to learn from every religion. We have something to teach, we have something to give, but we have something to learn. I am embarrassed when on Jeopardy they have a Bible selection. I'm glad I'm not up there. Because I'm embarrassed at my own ability to quote from the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. And I have Protestant friends that, on the tip, I'm embarrassed that I don't respect life the way Buddhists do. For them, to step on an ant means to take a life. And, oh, come on, Durak. Not even, it's bad to kill him. It's even worse not to have regret that we killed him. Or her. All mosquitoes that bite you are female. Thought I just mentioned it.
Really?
Yes, it's true. Because males are big and females need the blood to lay eggs. But so всі комарішувати кусають, то жіночого роблять. Так що, але we have so much to learn. But we have so much to teach. That should open the door to beautiful dialogue within groups. Unfortunately, almost every group, our church included, has dug in their heels, and if it's not our way, it's the wrong way. And that's destructive, both for our faith and for the community we live in.
A question for you.
Always.
You mentioned about all of us, and I think we all agree with you, that a struggle to understand God fully is possible and whatnot. Would it be equally valid, in your opinion, to say we struggle with loving as God loves? Because you defined yesterday God is love.
Yes, we fail in love every day. So yes, we struggle. We struggle with, not just with love, because everything God created and creates as a result of the outflow of the love. So anything that we have, anything that we experience, is the result of the outflow of God's love. So anytime we fail to appreciate, to acknowledge, to recognize God's presence in that event, we fail in God's love.
And in that instance, the knowledge of God, however much you know about God, is quite useless.
No!
If one doesn't live the love,
We learn by our mistakes, hopefully. We never, can I ever be perfect?
No, you can strive.
If I can't be perfect, why try?
It's your vocation.
No, that's the whole idea. Even though we fail in love, we continue to strive, to struggle. We're trying to reach the unreachable. We know we can never be perfect, but it doesn't mean that we cannot be better every day. And that's the right path. Proszę.
Couple of things. First of all, the exact term is fullness resides, subsists within the Catholic Church. It doesn't encompass. It doesn't put up barricades. Fullness subsists within the Catholic Church. The seed has been planted, it's like an onion, and we need to unpack it, or like an artichoke for those of us who know French. You take one and then you get to the heart. Unpacking is the work of the Holy Spirit, who continues revelation in the church. Revelation is not done. It continues. The Holy Spirit, the personification of God's love, is the one who does unpacking. If we close ourselves to that, there's a problem.
We do that every
Second,
day. Okay.
Divinity is at the basis of our humanity. Why do we look outside for God? God is with us, within us, through us. And if we can't recognize God within the heart, ours and others, again, the heart being the seat of love, well, there's no way that we can grasp. Intellectualizing God, putting God outside. I think of the Garden of Eden, where we were put out, and we're still trying to keep God out, rather than recognizing him in relationship. The triune God is relationship, and we need to be able to recognize him also, for we are made in the divine image. We need to recognize him who is within, also in relationship with those who are around. I'll shut up.
No need to, whatever you, all that you said, there's no argument with that. Except for one point, in the first, the Native Americans, First Nation people, as we call in Canada, the source of love in the human body, just for your information, it's not the heart, it's the stomach. That's the only. No, but what you said, it is in relationship. But I would argue that other religions also have, how do I put it? Also have an insight, also have the divine working with them.
They have a spark of revelation.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
It subsists within, but it is not limited to.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Дуже гарно катехизм пише.
Прошу.
Все-таки,
Станеш?
very nice catechism, Catholic Church. Все-таки, якщо об'явлене і завершене, воно не повністю з'ясоване. Християнській вірі доведеться впродовж віків проникати поступово в глибини його змісту.
So it's a lifelong struggle. It's not, we've got there yet. So that gives us a foundation of working, of evangelizing both to others, but also to ourselves. Okay? Сьогодні трошки довше, перепрошую, але a quick topic of a different matter. If можна ще political. Different matter. Practical. In Canada, in our eparchy in Toronto and in other eparchies, priests have become lax in some of their liturgical practices. Okay. I would encourage you to renew your vigor of your newly ordained days of wanting to do everything right. Simple examples, and there are many, but I won't exhaust them. When you turn around to bless the people, what do the people do?
Cross themselves.
Sorry?
Cross themselves.
Okay, and what else do they do? What is the response?
And with your spirit.
So the priest blesses the people bless the priest. The response is the people's blessing upon you. So when you go, Mir Shim, wait for Iduchovit Tvuyemu, receive their blessing, instead of Mir Shim, hit my back. It's disrespectful of the people. It's just something very simple. Also, please, in preparing for the liturgy of the priest does not start with Blahoslavene Carstvo. The liturgy of the priest does not start with the proscomitia. The liturgy of the priest does not start with the vesting. The liturgy of the priest starts with the prayers before the Eucharistos, or if there's so many priests at the back, then you just come up for the final prayer to go in to venerate the altar. Please do not omit that. I know if you're rushed, you have a lot of services, you're tired, it's very easy to start taking shortcuts. Even with the proscomitia, there's a special order and a special way of preparing the discus and the bread. And I'm not telling you that I asked the question when I gave the retreat in Edmonton of the priests. How many prosphoras does the book Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom call for each liturgy?
Five.
Okay.
But we have a dispensation on one.
No, I'm not saying you have to use one, but know it. And then the things like Antidor went out the window with the parish is so large, very few continue to give out the Antidor, which is the bread that's cut up at the proscomitia but not used, not placed on the discus. But there's a special order. How many times have I gone into a church as a visitor and I went to put in my own chastitia? If you have other priests celebrating, give them the courtesy of leaving some bread on the side so they can add their own chastitia to the discourse and then have their own prayer. It's a very nice courtesy. But how many times I went to the side, to the proscomedinik, to put a chastitia on, I take off the veil, I turn a copicino. He took it, so I just added my own. But there is an order, there is a purpose, because there are prayers that go with the proscomitia. It's not just chop, 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 pour, cover, ready. It takes away from the fullness of the liturgy. The people may not know it, the people may not see it, but it takes away from the fullness of the liturgy.
It may be a wrong time to ask the question, but since the subject is up, what is your opinion of the opening and the closing of the royal doors?
I have no opinion, but your opinion depends on your bishop's instruction.
There you go.
Because a lot of the liturgical rubrics are up to the discretion and pleasure of the bishop, including teplota, warm water, including the closing and the opening of the doors. There is a purpose to it, but that involves an explanation for the people. In my parish, I do the full service with the opening and the closing of the doors, but I've prepared my people. We're going to do by the book today so that you could experience it and to know that what is happening in the sanctuary, świętiliście, is a mystery beyond our comprehension. That's why the doors close, to put the mind on hold and just say, Boże, ja tut. But that is the other part is explain to you, take part of your homilies, your sermons, can touch upon parts of the liturgy to help them understand better. One of the first questions I was asked when I came and I started to explain the liturgy to the people, I thought the priest before me did, but they didn't. And all of a sudden, a lady goes, Oče, priki dveri tam hovorje, dveri the doors, let us be attentive. Priki to dveri hovorje.
You need the entrance doors.
Sorry?
The entrance doors to the church.
Why?
Because catechumens weren't allowed to stay.
But what are we omitting now from the liturgy that the people don't have that connection? The litany of catechumens. And they don't hear, all you catechumens leave, you catechumens leave, all you catechumens leave, only the faithful let us pray to the Lord. And they don't hear that. So again, it really helps them to develop a love for the liturgy if they can more fully understand. The zaambona molitva. Worship the zaambona molitva. Who should say? Yes. But okay, how many priests know or how many churches have the ambon? And the ambon has migrated. It's like the continental drift. The ambon used to be a full circle in the middle of the church. And that is where, even today, if it's a pontifical divine liturgy, the bishop is vested in the middle of the church, standing on the orlach, on the ambon, and he's vested there and he stays there until the beginning of the liturgy. When does the liturgy begin? Коли є початок літургії?
Молитву відмовляєте перед?
Ні. Ні.
Great small entrance.
А літургії są жертви?
Не з благословенним царством. Ну, літургія починається, коли владика входить в святилище. Коли він ходить?
Ходить на малому вході.
Святий Боже. Так. Тобто зараз перед, як владика входить, то є початок літургії. Everything before that is a warm-up. With people reading the Psalms, waiting for the bishop to come up, and the priest. So we turn that into a prayer service. But the liturgy itself begins at Świętej Boże. The liturgy cannot be without the bishop if he's present. So again, навіть замовна молитва, владико. I'm going to be thrown out before the end of the day. Коли замовна молитва була приписана кому колись?
Маєте на увазі,
Хто відмовляв ту молитву?
якщо служить священник сам, то завжди на замовну молитву виходить головний служитель.
Так.
Але в архиерейській, тоді наймолодший служитель.
Але колись, не так давно тому, замовна молитва була в повній архієрея. Початку до кінця. Тоді вони скоротили. Священник відмовляє, тоді на бік ступаєш, спаси людей твоїх і благослови спадкоємство твоє.
Це галицька традиція.
То була така традиція.
Це галицька традиція, і вона є, не тому що була, вона є.
Але тепер владики навіть не беруть. То було рішення синоду, я думаю, ні?
Я думаю, Павло Василик так і робив, я пам'ятаю. Павло Василик.
Ну, бо то було, коли ж владики чули за амвонну молитву, вони виходили на амвон слова і посеред людей відмовляли ту молитву, повні. Потім священники почали, владики тільки благословили на спаси людей твоїх, і тоді священники закінчували, тепер священники беруть.
Ну,
Але
ми входимо в дискусію літургічну до
but I like dabbling in liturgy. Нічого. Браття, закінчимо молитвою, і владики мають до вас накипітити. In the Eastern Rite tradition, we begin with the prayer, we begin with the sign of the cross, we begin with the prayer, and then the spiritual talk is part of the prayer. So at the ending prayer, we don't make the sign of the cross until after the prayer. So just again, it's an old tradition. Достойно Его истину, величати блаженної Тебе, Богородицю, Христо блаженної Пренепорочну, і Матір Бога нашого, чеснішої херувимів, і незрівняно славнішої серафимів, що без отріння Бога Слово породила, сущу Богородицю.